Action Jackson. My name is TJ Pierce. I'm founder and owner, operator of Mid-Century Homes here in Boise, Idaho. And I have with me the wonderful...
I'm Jay Cornish, and I'm the intern through Boise State University with TJ at Mid-Century Homes.
Yes, you are.
That's right.
You are a very first BSU intern through the Work U program.
Yes.
And we learned a lot, didn't we?
We did. We
learned some things to do, some things not to do. We learned how quick to move and how slow we can't move. I am kind of curious from the job posting that we had to what was involved in the work that you did. How closely did those two things align for you?
I think it was pretty close. I think from like the first day that, we started texting and getting into communication with each other, it was always all about the homeowner feature.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of stayed consistent throughout the whole semester. I was the one that kind of was wanting to pivot and do more real estate stuff.
Yeah.
And so then you adjusted accordingly, but for the most part, I was doing everything that you said I was going to do.
Yeah. So what we positioned the role to be and what you did to execute, they were pretty in alignment.
Yeah, for sure.
For those that don't know, what is the homeowner feature? What does that even mean?
Right. So the homeowner feature are basically when we find homeowners that we want to feature their homes. And basically a lot of the work is to prospect and to find homeowners that are willing to let us enter their home and photograph and videograph. And so then once we find them, we do a little interview with them, get to know them a little bit more, and then decide which aspects of the house we want to highlight. And then once we do that, we come back, we photograph it, videograph it, and then we put it all into a little, kind of collage, make little excerpts about it, and then it goes onto TJ's website.
Yeah, or Instagram, or hard copy deliverables. And since it's our first one, we're actually kind of exploring and experimenting with what those deliverables are going to be.
Right.
How many did we want you to do?
We wanted to get 2 done.
Yeah, and how many did we get done?
We got 1 done.
And how many people did you reach out to?
Probably like over 20 at least.
Yeah, 20 people.
Yeah.
So out of 20 people, we ended up with 1, so a 1-to-20 ratio.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Did you have to find any of those people on your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we help the audience learn about how we decided on the 20 people that you reached out to?
What do you mean?
What was that process like? How did you even know where to go? Like what homes, what people to contact? Like how did that come together?
Right. So obviously TJ knows all about like the Mid-Century Homes, the community up here in Boise. So he had some addresses that he had been wanting to scope out but hadn't either touched or knew of the people, or some people that he knew actually really well but we had never really done a feature with. So it was definitely a broad scale, and I was the first one that I reached out to. Actually, we had no idea who those people were, and they were the ones that actually allowed us to do the feature.
Yeah.
And then the second one that I was supposed to do is actually people that TJ is familiar and friendly with, and then that just didn't end up working out.
Yeah.
But through that, we would use email, Facebook, we would use Title I, and to get all the information that we needed from there. And so it was just kind of a bunch of different.
Yeah. Title I being a title company in town that gives us access to learn about who the owners are of those particular properties, and then we set you on a Mission Impossible project of chasing down where they're at, what forms of digital presence they have. Did any of them equate to you having to knock on a door?
I did not go door knocking.
Yeah. So, and not that we won't leverage that strategy, but you didn't have to in this instance. Yeah. So, it's a process of trying to find the right home and the right people who are willing to let you really invade their space and collect some content and then show their space off to the world.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody wants to do that.
No, not everyone does.
But what we have found out is that most of the people that own mid-century homes are really proud of the homes that they own. And so it's also not uncommon that they're excited to share that with you and let you document some of those things. And so we've featured a lot of them over the years. But with the work that we do, we're in our 8th year, going into our 8th year of doing business. We have let these, what we call homeowner features, just kind of go by the wayside because all the listings that we end up doing kind of equate to that. And before we had this listing activity, when we were starting the business, kind of building proof of concept, we had come up with this homeowner feature idea as a way to show people kind of what we were into and what we were looking for and what kind of body of work we were after. And they served that purpose. And so we've had over the years people just ask like, hey, when are you bringing those back? And we just don't really have time for them.
Yeah.
So when BSU engaged us and we started having a conversation about what that partnership could look like, we put this program together that allows the students to go through the effort of really what I did in the first year of business, which is very entrepreneurial work, and having to communicate with strangers and find good communication strategies and then even experiment with setting proper expectations,
Right.
trying to set the right foundation, putting multiple people and parties together to try to create something. So there's a level of collaboration that's involved there.
Yep.
And then, like you said, something that was more of interest to you, kind of as we were progressing through this, was you wanted to learn more about the real estate side. So.
Yeah.
And we're flexible, but really at the end of the day, the two things that we want done are homeowner feature number 1 and homeowner feature number 2. And you helped us kind of, in the very first homeowner feature, craft a process that we will continue to use. But we're also flexible as long as those are being delivered to kind of, adjust accordingly and give you more of what you're looking for in your internship. So
Right.
I think we were able to do that.
Yes, definitely.
How about two of your most interesting experiences in working in the homeowner feature side? Tell us a little bit about that.
The homeowner feature side? Yeah. I definitely think, prospecting through Facebook, I had never actually used Facebook before. And so I think definitely trying to reach that target audience was just something I had not used before. I have used other platforms. I've had sales positions before.
Yeah, we actually needed to make you resurrect your Facebook profile.
I had to make a Facebook, and TJ's my only friend. So going through that was definitely an interesting experience. I didn't really have much luck on that, so I need to work on that. And then I think just actually meeting the two homeowners, they were just very, very nice, and just real estate stuff aside, like they were telling us all about like their travels and what they do each year at their age, and it was just very interesting to get to know them and just have another person that in the mid-century community up here in Boise. So yeah,
awesome. What about the real estate side? What were some of the interesting facts or lessons that you learned once you brought that to our attention that you wanted to invest in that side?
Yeah,
Are you walking away with anything?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think meeting up with some of like the other agents on the team, specifically Vance, I think he was telling me a lot. He's one of the agents that's more so closer to my age, and so he had been telling me that he wishes he started when he was 18 years old. And then TJ, doubled down on that and said most real estate agents believe that, and so that definitely like put a light in my head as to like kind of get it going. And then another thing was TJ told me about like the legal aspects of real estate one day, and I think that is a lot of stuff that I will definitely like remember. That I think it was just very interesting, and we were able to use real life examples, which fostered my learning a lot. And so I definitely think seeing all of the sides of real estate, not just like the big fancy homes, but also the legal sides and some of the downsides are also interesting to learn about.
Yeah, cool. If you had to do it all over again, would you?
Yes.
Okay, cool. What do you give the experience out of 10?
I would give it...
You won't offend me, by the way.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are things that we could do better that would make it a 10 out of 10?
I think perhaps maybe every week telling me what the schedule is like, because mine doesn't really change. As like a college student, it might change a little bit week to week, but obviously you as the one that's in charge of this whole company and with kids, their schedule is different every single week. And so I didn't really understand that at first. So if sometimes our office hours at Wednesday weren't necessarily like happening, or you were only able to come for a few minutes, then I didn't really know what to do for like the rest of the couple hours that I was supposed to be here. So I think just trying to figure out, how can we spread out the hours throughout the week, and just so we can hit that mark. So I think maybe just like more communication that way, because I was just assuming, come to the office every Wednesday, but that just wasn't sufficient enough. But other than that, I think everything else was really good.
If you had to do it all over again, what would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently? Probably like from the start, say that I wanted to learn more about like real estate at the same time. I felt like I didn't start really announcing my interest for that until like towards the middle.
Okay. What about the assignment that we gave you? Do you feel like you could have managed that better or differently at all?
The homeowner feature?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think I could have, I think for the second one, I kind of just was relying on the client that you gave me instead of trying to maybe have backups.
Yeah.
So I think I was assuming that that client was going to work, and then when it fell through, I wish I could have had like a couple backups to call and be like, oh, hey, did you still want to do this?
Totally.
Because I just had nobody at that point.
Yeah, yeah. How important is having a schedule that you stay committed to so that you make sure you get all your hours in?
It's pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without that, time goes by really quick and you won't get it done.
Right.
Yeah. And how important is doing a lot of the front end prospecting so that you actually have opportunities to call on early and often at the beginning?
Exactly.
Pretty important, right?
Pretty important, definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else worth sharing?
Thank you so much for helping me throughout this whole experience. It really has been a lot to learn, and I think that just you even like picking me up on like Fridays and just like driving me around and talking has really been a lot more beneficial than a lot of other jobs that I've had before in my life. So I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you for being you.
Yes.
We want all of our students to be exactly like Jay. So I will make sure that his phone number is available so that you can text or call him and you can figure out everything that Jay did so it can be exactly perfect like he was.
I'll answer.
Thanks, dude.